Hey everybody, so last night I went on live stream with the Pro Extinction channel on YouTube. I think some of their views are kind of extreme, so I wanted to make a disclaimer. I do not recommend the euthanasia of wild animals. I think that violates their consent and violates their desire to live, even though it might result in a net reduction in suffering over the long term. I don't think euthanizing healthy animals so they don't suffer in the future is kind of wrong. Um, yeah, and I was mainly just trying to listen, and I think this is an interesting philosophy. As a vegan, I would be okay with the extinction of farmed animals because I think extinction for cows, chickens, and pigs is a lot more preferable to what they're going through. But I don't think that euthanasia should be implemented. Um, you know, sterilization for animals is like another topic, that I might agree on to some extent with them. But please don't go and euthanize wild animals after watching this live stream because killing animals isn't vegan. Um, you know, when they're healthy, and yeah, I think their lives have some intrinsic value, and that euthanizing them violates not only their consent but their um, their desire to live. So anyway, that's my disclaimer, and here's the live stream. So take care. Bye.
So, hi guys, welcome to another debate. Extinctionist versus vegan. We have Colburn Clark here from USA. Yeah, Clark, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Colburn Clark. I'm an animal rights activist and vegan. I live in Washington State, and my focus recently has been anti-foie gras pressure campaigns. And I'm very new to the concept of extinctionism. I've just educated myself on it a little bit today. I probably don't fully understand all the nuances to it, but yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so I'll introduce extinctionism to you. But before that, how many years have you been into animal rights?
I first went vegan in 2015, and I first got involved in activism with Direct Action Everywhere in 2017.
Mhm.
So I would say probably for around about 8 years.
Okay, 8 years. Fine. So, what made you get into like animal rights or veganism? Like, what pushed you towards it?
Sure. I was going to college and I got a booklet. I saw a booklet called Even If You Like Meat. And I was a very heavy, like, animal product consumer, burgers, chicken, everything every week. And I opened up that booklet and I saw a picture of a pig in a gestation crate. And a gestation crate is where they put pregnant mother pigs to manage them so they don't like hurt the farmers, and they end up rolling over on their piglets, and they're stuck in these crates for years, and they go insane from that. And I saw the look on that pig's face, and it really struck me that this animal was in terrible suffering, and it wasn't something that I really wanted to contribute to anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll introduce you what extinctionism is. So basically, like even I used to be an animal rights activist, and before I started activism for extinctionism, and I've been plant based for around 12 or 13 years now, and I started the same place you did, which is farmed animal suffering, right? Um, so the thing is that like we are completely anti-speciesist. So we view suffering always from victim's point of view, right? So from the victim's point of view, they don't care what causes their suffering. They only care that they suffer, right? So whether it's a starving calf in a dairy farm or a starving deer in a forest, they both feel the same suffering. There is no reason for me to discriminate between them and say that, okay, this deer suffers less than the calf. Both suffering deserves to be stopped. And when it comes to natural suffering, especially wild animal suffering, it kind of is like woven into the existence itself. Like either a zebra has to die or the lion has to starve. But both of them, they don't deserve this, right? They don't deserve to be in the cycle of suffering. So we just want to euthanize all farmed animals, euthanize all wild animals, and we want to find a thorough and a permanent solution to make it so that as humans, to make it so that life doesn't come back. The extinction is thorough and vast, right? So this is what we are advocating for.
Yeah, and that's very interesting to me. Um, I would ask, is there a double standard though? Like, do you advocate for euthanasia for animals, but not for humans, or do you also advocate for euthanasia for humans as well?
See, I don't think it is not about. If you are asking about right to die, I don't oppose right to die,
Okay.
right? So the thing is, I want humans to exist as of now, right? So the problem is that I don't care how you achieve extinction. Like theoretically, I would be fine with sterilizing all the animals as well, but it's not going to be possible to pick each and every ant up and perform sterilization on them. So it is
Yeah.
not going to be practical. So we have to accept the euthanasia for some animals.
Yeah.
So my thing is that humans should exist as of now because like we have a big moral obligation. If you are gone, I don't think any other species can, aim to take care of other animals, right? Only we can. So so I think first, I think the first step is like we can already start euthanizing farmed animals, right? We actually don't need animals to survive, and we already can cause the extinction for farmed animals, and then we can, I mean, at least reduce their population. Obviously, there are going to be illegal farms, even if you ban all farms tomorrow.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, so their suffering is not going to end until we cause total extinction. But the thing is, we can start there. We can start euthanizing farmed animals. We can start euthanizing wild animals, at least the ones that don't, largely affect the ecosystem. and then we can start the research on making the others extinct as well, and we can also work on a more thorough and vast extinction, right? We can start researching on such a technology like causing a vacuum decay. We can just start researching what that most thorough and vast extinction is going to be, right? So this is how we start practically implementing the movement.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never heard that before. One of the questions that comes to mind is what makes it acceptable to violate's a strong word, but to go against the consent of an animal with euthanasia because they might resist it versus a human.
Okay.
Yeah.
So regarding the consent of animals, like what see, the thing is that their consent is being violated anyway, right?
Yeah.
So these animals, they come into existence, their consent is violated, right? So nobody asked us like whether we want to come into existence in the first place. And then when they get tortured by this existence, when they like newborn zebras getting ripped apart by hyenas,
Yeah, that's
imagine getting torn apart alive. Do you consent to it? No, right? So like imagine like everything is a consent violation. Do you like to die naturally? Like whenever death comes, you're gonna consent to it. Right?
Yeah,
So
I think I'd prefer to die like naturally, to die a natural death. Um,
see,
that's
again,
just where I'm
you
at.
might.
I'm very healthy right now, and so my opinion on that might be subject to change.
See, but a lot of beings don't, right? If everybody prefers to die naturally, and old people are like, let death come, would probably go out of business, right?
Could you
And the
say that
other thing
again?
is that even if someone says like I accept suffering, that is your personal decision, but the thing is life continuing as a whole is going to violate the consent of so many individuals, and it's gonna
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you.
cause suffering to a lot of individuals. You have no right to say that this life should continue. Puppies should get tortured, predators should either starve or rip apart their prey alive. People should suffer from natural disasters. People should suffer from wars. You have no right to say that. Even if you accept suffering for yourself,
Yeah,
nobody
I
can
can see
take that
that.
collective decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take slavery for example, right? A white person cannot say that I'm okay with slavery, and even a black slave cannot say that I'm okay with slavery. That is not a decision you can
Yeah.
make.
Yeah, I
Like,
watched I watched one of your debates with I'm forgetting his name now, but he was an antinatalist, and that's something that I agree with you. I think that suffering is objectively bad, and that
yeah.
there's an objective morality that comes along with that. Whereas he was kind of arguing for subjective morality. I mean, suffering is bad because it's suffering. That's all you need to know about it, I would think.
Yeah. I
So
mean, subjective moralists are kind of funny. Like they are living, they are being protected by objective morality. To be really honest,
yeah, I agree.
like even if you dig a previous debate of mine, one guy will be there. He'll be like, I only care about my family. Natural suffering. You just fuck them. You just fuck
Yeah,
all the farmed animals. And then when I'm like, but then do I have any rights to kill your family? Then he's like, no, no, you are a moral person. You won't do that. I believe in you. Like, I mean, that is
well,
like like if everybody starts believing in slavery tomorrow, slavery doesn't become moral. Like
yeah, that's true.
these people
That's very
just
true.
become, these people just become unempathetic and morally blind. That's it.
Yeah. I would say the way I live my life, I'm imperfect and I can't perfectly adhere to a moral code, and there are people in my life that I value more than strangers. I don't have that equanimity to where, I view all life as equal. Um, but, it's so easy to not oppress others, at the position that I'm in, which is one of the reasons I went vegan, is because it's very simple. You just avoid animal exploitation and animal use, and from a consumer standpoint, it's when you go to the grocery store, you just buy something else or you buy a different, soap or cleaner or whatever, you know. But I can see a moral code is worth being aspiring to.
Yeah. So the problem with the major problem with the vegan movement comes is like 90% of the vegans are environmentalists. I don't know about USA, but at least in India, they are like protect nature, right? So when I ask them, like, okay, let's say like tomorrow all the animal industry is banned, that leaves us with 35 million square kilometers of land. So what do you want to do in this land, right? So the currently the urban land is just 1% of. So this is UNFAO statistics. You can just see this in our world in data. Probably you are a vegan, so in activism you are already familiar with this. So 80% of the agricultural land is being used for animal agriculture, because animal agriculture is not just farms and animal farms and factory farms and slaughterhouses. It's also the fodder you farm for the animals. So plant farming literally doesn't consume that much land, but it still feeds 80% of the calorific needs of people, right? So it is the largest consumer of land. So these vegans, if I ask them, these environmentalist vegans, what do you want to do? Like, we want to do reforestation in this land, which literally doesn't make any sense to me. As I said, like, there is literally no difference between a calf starving in a dairy farm and a deer starving in a forest, because whenever it comes to suffering, it only makes sense to look at it from the victim's point of view. A deer cannot be happier. It cannot say that I'm happier. At least a dairy farmer is not abusing me. I'm just starving naturally, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of don't agree with it. Like, if you want to cause the extinction of farmed animals, if you want,
Yeah, I think that
like,
would be a net positive. That's something I see as a positive in the future.
what is.
The extinction of farmed animals.
Yeah.
I
So
think that would be
yeah,
a
that is
very
what I'm saying.
positive.
Like,
Yeah.
like see, it is a positive thing if they are not replaced by another species.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
So that is the kind of hypocrisy I find in the vegan movement. Like, majority of the vegans wanting to reforest that land. So if you see a lot of vegan YouTubers, they would have made a video like, what do you want to do with the land which is left by animal farms? They'd be like, these lands will be
I really
reforested.
haven't looked into that, to be honest with you. I haven't
See,
seen that kind of stuff yet.
so the thing is that, like, people don't know, like, some of the. So before you became vegan, you might have thought like, uh, it's just a bunch of cows standing in a dairy farm. What could be so bad, right? So you just
Yeah.
got into veganism, and you just came to know about it. So these are also facts about wildlife. 99.9% of the wild animals, like the little ones, they don't survive, right?
Yeah.
There will be like so many animals reproducing, and then there will be much less resources, and They would die of diseases, they would die of starvation, and it's very common to get abandoned by your own parents, right? Even humans have done this. Like if you have to reach water in time before your pack dies, and your children are slowing you down, like you can just look back only so many times, right?
Yeah, that's terrible. That's really
Yeah,
bad.
so
So
yeah.
your concern really is that with all this rewilded land, that the population of wild animals is going to increase on that land to the level of the amount of like farmed animals we have today or greater.
I I can give you statistics that it's uh, with regards to pure population, right? It's gonna be even more.
Interesting.
I can give you data on that. So the thing is that um, so usually vegans have this idea that actually wild animals are less. Actually, this is not true. The statistics you see regarding the biomass is just about biomass, right? So that is what you see in the vegan communities. It's not the actual number of population of animals, right?
Interesting.
And it is
Yeah.
also comparing. It is also comparing only the mammals along with the farmed mammals, right? So the pigs and the cows versus the elephants and the lions and the zebras, right? But I think I can add this data on later after the live is ended. Like
Yeah, I'd
again,
be interested in that.
uh,
And
yeah,
because I was pulling up those statistics before I got into the live stream about
yeah,
the percentage of wild animals biomass compared to the to the farmed animal biomass. And I didn't
yeah,
know about that there may be more animals in a smaller biomass than not.
yeah,
I'd be
exactly.
see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So this is what this wild birds biomass makes us clear about. So I can provide you the statistics. It's a reputable source. It's called Our World in Data, and they have provided a reputable research paper also on that for their data. So they are saying like yeah, like obviously this cattle biomass is still higher, right? So they name wild birds in the range between 100 billions, wild birds alone. So I'm not talking about the mammals. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about the uh, even frogs and lizards deserve moral consideration, and fishes are in quadrillions, right? I don't even know how many zeros quadrillions have. I just know it's bigger than trillions.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are these many wild animals. So just 100 billion birds makes it more in number than farmed animals.
Interesting.
So doubling, so this 35 million or 38 million square kilometers, maybe off on a few million, I guess. Uh, this square kilometers of land consumed by the animal agriculture industry is actually going to more or less double the forests, right? So if wild birds alone are like 100 billion now, you imagine the amount of lizards, the amount of frogs, uh, so the amount of insects, right? Insects may not feel pain as much as the vertebrates, but still their pain also deserves to be stopped,
Yeah.
right? And if you take wild animals like uh, you know uh, this is really common in birds and baby small baby animals. They often get eaten alive by ants. Like this is a
I've
really
seen that
common thing
before.
that happens in like if you just consider this 100 billion wild birds, right? So most of them don't learn to take flight, right? You just see the ones that fly and you think they are beautiful, but most of them don't even take flight. they just fall off into the water and rot or get the lucky ones get eaten by snakes. The unlucky ones get eaten alive by ants.
Yeah.
So this is what happens, and
Yeah,
uh,
I
we
could
also
see the mass sterilization of like animals as being a very effective way of preventing suffering. You know, I think where we would probably disagree is on the means that extinctionism should be implemented. Personally, like I try to abstain from killing as much as I can, and I do view euthanasia, as killing. And, you know, I may be a hypocrite because if I got into certain situation, I might be more amenable to wanting euthanasia, if I was really sick and suffering with no point. But, it's just kind of like um, my spiritual leanings, I guess, would be against killing, you know, unless it's like absolutely necessary.
see the thing is that um, even if you sterilize, okay, I'm not against sterilization. Like if theoretically you can sterilize all the beings, right? And tomorrow they are gonna go extinct, and these animals that exist right now, they are gonna live out their life, and they are gonna go extinct. I don't care about that, but it's not gonna be practical to pick each and every fish and on the planet and sterilize them, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, and even more, like the thing is that you have to consider the cost of letting existence continue here. So
Yeah.
letting existence continue means that these animals, they are not going to just die. They are going to be born. They are going to suffer, and then they are going to die. But before they die, what they will do is they will reproduce, and they will create another fresh batch of organisms, and then they will suffer, and then they will
Yeah.
reproduce, and they will die, right?
Yeah.
So this is like the cycle of, so if you think about it, the planet is like euthanizing itself or killing itself over and over again. I shouldn't use the word euthanasia here. There is no mercy here. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the planet is a huge genocidal machine, to be really
I,
honest with you.
and that's another
So
point I would agree with you with is that some deaths are worse than others. I think that's not disputable, you know,
see,
and you're right.
mostly natural death is worse than any euthanasia methods you have invented on the planet. Like you just think about multiple organ failure, right? Your kidney fails, and then you just fall down, and then you have to rot there for days till all your organs fail, and then you die. You think about cancer.
Seems like it sucks. Yeah.
You think of cancer, right? You think about like any harsh disease on this planet, like that is death. That is natural death, right?
Yeah.
So
I've just been, like reading some Buddhist stuff, and it makes me, I wonder about the possibility of like rebirth, and I can see within the framework of rebirth extinction also being a positive, because there'd be less beings like overall per cycle. Um, but I wonder if what's after death, you know, and that's something I don't think anyone really knows. So it's a great unknown. Consciousness kind of arises from what we view as nothingness. Like, why wouldn't it happen again? For maybe an observer. I don't want to get into souls or anything like that because I don't believe in a soul. But you know, beings are constantly.
See, I'll give you the thing about afterlife. So afterlife itself is a concept that was made up by humans, and I can like literally tell you it doesn't exist. So hear me out, right? So the thing is that the idea of afterlife comes from a fear of nothingness, right? So whenever people imagine nothingness, they imagine like they don't imagine like rational stuff like what nothingness would actually be, but what they imagine is like them being alone in a black room forever, suspended with their own thoughts, right? So that gives them fear. So I really understood the other people when I saw a series called Supernatural. They say like so at least hell is something. I won't even send you to hell, I'll send you to nothingness. I mean, like,
Oh wow.
like that's supposed to be bad, right? So, so the thing is that, so this fear, like, makes people contemplate rebirth, contemplate hell and heaven, make up some weird shit. But the thing is that when you just take a pen drive and burn it, right? There is no after drive for the pen drive,
That we
right?
can observe. Yeah, that's true.
No, there is no
That's
after drive.
observable.
The pen drive was it. That was the hardware. That is
Yeah,
grounded on science, right? So
I think
there
I would
is,
agree with that. Yeah, as
yeah.
far
So
as we can
that
observe, I
same
think we need
way,
to rely
same
on
way,
science a lot.
same way, same way. Your brain is the drive that
Yeah,
contains
no,
you.
I agree. I agree. If
You're
I
dead.
die, like I'm never coming back. It'll never be me again. But who's to say I
Yeah, yeah.
wouldn't wake up
Let me
as like a
let me
fish
finish.
or a bird or something?
Let me finish.
Yeah.
So the thing is that your brain is that drive, right? So if you are dead, right? So it's just nothingness. Just like when you're having a deep sleep, there is no after sleep, right? So when you're having a dreamless sleep, all you remember is going to the sleep and waking up in the morning. You don't even have to contemplate afterlife here,
Well,
right?
there is an
You
after
just
sleep though. You
you,
go to sleep and you wake up, and
yeah,
that's the after sleep.
yeah, that is that there is no need for after sleep here, right? So this is how this is the death as well. You won't even be contemplating like will I wake up again like in sleep, right? So the difference is you won't wake up, that's it. So that
I
is the thing,
actually
like
remember a
literally.
lot of my dreams. Do you remember your dreams? Like when you sleep, do you remember
I mean,
dreams?
like I do have sometimes I do have dreams, and sometimes I have when I go to the gym, I mean I have a deep sleep where I don't have dreams, like I
Any
just
dreams
wake
at
up.
all? Yeah.
Yeah, that is like when I'm really exhausted, right?
Frequently,
So
I have dreams, and they're very realistic for me, and I'm not sure if that's because I have some underlying sleep disorder or what the cause of that is, but the dreams seem very, very real, and I can remember them when I wake up.
yeah, I have those too sometimes. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just talking about the thing where I think at a point in life, anyone who would have had such a sleep, right? Uh, uh, that is literally nothingness, and there is just like there is no consciousness going out and going to heaven, going to after sleep and coming back. There is no concept like some weird soul shit going out and afterlife. There's nothing like that. If your brain is dead, you're in an eternal deep sleep. That's it. There is like literally nothing. You don't worry
I don't
about.
know about that. And this kind of upsets my friend because she's kind of like you a lot. She believes like once you're dead, it's just like over with, nothingness. Um, but after we die, there are going to be other beings that are born if we don't achieve extinction.
Exactly.
And where does their consciousness come from? Like there's definitely somebody there occupying it, and
See, Consciousness
say
has
that there's not a stream of consciousness that continues out.
wait a second. Consciousness has different levels, right? You don't sit and wonder about corals' consciousness. They are also
No,
animals. You don't
I,
sit and wonder about jellyfish's consciousness, right? We are more developed, right? We are more sentient. You don't you don't think like see, jellyfish has just a few nerves hanging around, which gives it something similar to a negative stimuli. It doesn't even feel as much as insects, right? And insects don't even feel as much as us. So this concept of rebirth and all is funny because it's just for us, right? You just invented it, like because you cannot contemplate the idea. But the thing is,
yeah,
we live in a material reality, and like it's based on how nerves work on a jellyfish. That is what gives the jellyfish the negative stimuli, and
sure.
it's how the nerves work on the so it's how our cells develop, how they evolved and made us into the complex chemical molecules that we are, right? So we
Yeah.
are actually like complex
So
molecules working
you think
together.
it's like a random process to be born as like a human or to be born as a jellyfish?
It is a random
There's no like
process.
karma involved.
It is a random process.
Yeah,
It is I mean there is no karma. I don't think like there is any uh, thing other than survival of the fittest, right? This
yeah,
is what made us. It starts from the chemical level. So stable chemicals survive and unstable chemicals don't. So this is the one rule of the universe that we live in from the beginning. And this favored carbon atoms being stable in some configurations, which made them into organic molecules, and then more complex organic molecules, which survived stable in our planet. You won't be asking this question in Mars, right? Because Mars doesn't have the favorable.
yeah.
Uh,
We wouldn't be here.
we wouldn't be asking the same thing in Venus, because in Venus you need to be a whole other chemical to be surviving there.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And
So
there's no
I
nitrogen
don't think
to
it
begin
makes sense at all. It is random. It is random. It randomly happened because the conditions on Earth favored it. If you make a same other, if you make a similar planet somewhere else, it will happen too.
Yeah, and that is one part. Like I wouldn't consider myself a Buddhist, but I'm someone who's studying it at a very rudimentary level, and that does bother me sometimes when they talk about karma and like people with birth defects that they did something wrong in a past life to
Bruh,
develop the
you
birth.
just you just imagine like. See, first of all, I don't even believe in sort of punishments, right? For example, a person with a sadism disorder, right? He is torturing an animal, right? Because he has mental disorder. If you have the same mental disorder, you won't be a vegan. You would be that torturing person yourself, right?
Yeah, that's
So, what is the point of making that person born again and then be that tortured puppy? I mean,
yeah.
that's a
I
whole
think
new
there's no
puppy that
point.
is being tortured. He doesn't even
There's
have the memory. So it's a whole new person.
yeah, there's no point.
It's a ridiculous concept, right? You do some bad shit in this world, and then you'll be you beat some dog, and then you will be born as a dog and be beaten. Right. I don't want to be stuck in this cycle. That is some
I don't
crazy
either.
bullshit. Yeah.
I
And
maybe it is,
and karma is a bullshit concept, bro. Like the population of animals is not even the same as it used to be, right? So like today there are 8 billion humans. Yesterday there were like what 1 billion or 2 billion, right? So the same goes with animals also. Like the population is like always varying. Like there have been 6 mass extinctions, and the amount of beings born in the world rises and comes below. And I
Do
don't
you
know.
think
Like
there could be another universe? Like, do you think this is the only universe, or do you think there
see,
could
I
be
don't know.
another
I don't know. Like
universe?
the thing is, multiverse theory, like M theory, is a solid theory in physics, and uh, uh, there is nothing to refute it as of yet. And there could be, like, my point is like, I wouldn't say like you have to cause extinction on all universes or my galaxy alone or Earth alone. My point is like there is a moral obligation. You search for the most vast and thorough extinction possible,
Yeah,
practically possible. That's it. I won't delude myself. This is always going to be a practical, rational movement grounded on science, rationality, and ethics.
yeah,
Right. So our ethics is suffering focused. So as you said, like it's objectively bad. Suffering is objectively bad. Like
yeah.
nobody deserve. You don't deserve to suffer. I don't
I
deserve
agree
to
with that.
suffer.
I agree that
The
if
a dog
suffering
doesn't
wasn't
deserve to suffer.
objectively bad, it wouldn't be suffering.
Yeah. So
It would be
the
something else.
and another thing objective about suffering is like only victim's perspective matters. Right. Your perspective doesn't matter. If you say that animals with stripes don't matter, like I wouldn't agree with you. So
Yeah, because
yeah,
their lives
that
matter to that animal who has stripes. You know.
yeah, so
Um,
that's bigotry, and all suffering deserves to be stopped. And
so
so we
why
also
are here's something I'm curious about, and why aren't because I'm also antinatalist, like as a vegan, and I'm curious why some extinctionists aren't antinatalist, because I think bringing another human here necessarily creates more suffering, you know?
okay, I'll deconstruct antinatalism for you step by step. So the thing is that first antinatalism, like uh, it is just about humans, right? Animals cannot be antinatalist, right? It's just about humans. So these people are going and asking people to be voluntarily antinatalist, right? It's a voluntary movement. That itself is self-defeating because even 10,000 years later, there are going to be a few theists clinging around. There are going to be few or even a lot of racists clinging around,
Yeah.
right? So you can never, so game theory just disproves you can never get the whole world to agree with you, right? So it's
I
never
totally
going to happen anyway. It's never going to happen anyway, right? So my point is that so you have to so all movements,
Well, I'm
right?
kind of detecting an appeal to
Just
perfection fallacy, though,
no,
because
just a second, bro. Just a second.
okay,
I
go ahead.
see. Here is where I have to give you the whole picture, right? So this the same thing goes for veganism as well. The same thing applies for anti-racism as well. But anti-racism is a movement that we view as already something that has succeeded in giving black people their rights, right? But how did they do it? So if you take a survey made in 1958, right, which is like really recent. So in terms of history, so 94% of the people in USA have voted against interracial marriages, meaning they were racists. Right?
Yeah.
So remaining 6% of the people have either voted like neutral or for it, right? And even in this 6% of the people who had the no comments and the favorable comments, not even 1% were actually active for black people, right?
Okay.
The entire whatever cause you take, like in the entire world, the people who are actively fighting for it will not be like more than 1 or 2%,
Yeah.
right? So what they did is they smartly took over power, right, through various means, either by taking over direct political power, or by going to the judicial system, which is insulated from the public opinion. So they've tried various, they tried even boycotting to make boycotting and other sorts of like disruptions that would force the government to heed to their demands, right? So they have used many of these strategies, and they have achieved victory, right? So they didn't delude themselves that if they had started a movement like veganism and anti-natalism and tried to convert people to anti-racists, there would still be slavery right now. Right? So that'll never be a possibility, right? So this is what empaths have recognized. Only a few percent of the people are hyper empaths, who always want to keep helping, who always have that compassion, right? So so the only way to do that is like to force the system. So converting everybody is impossible, and it would do well for
Well,
anti-natalist.
I think the fact
Right?
that it's impossible. Could I say one thing? I
Yeah.
think the fact that it's impossible to convert everyone to beneficial ideologies shouldn't stop us from converting some people over to them. Because I mean,
No,
isn't
no,
that
no.
what you're
Let,
trying to
let
do
me,
with
let me,
extinction?
bro, let me complete my point, right? Let me
Okay,
complete
because
my point.
I kind of got
That's why,
lost, to be honest with you.
yeah, that's
I'm
why
not
I said like
the sharpest
you
tool in the
have to,
shed.
just a second. That's why I said like you have to get the whole picture, right? So before continuing, so the thing is that like you cannot convert everybody. So what these people did is they gathered empaths, and then they didn't care about, because they know for sure slavery is bad. They don't need the consent of all the 94% of the people, right?
Yeah.
Even if some black people came and said they wanted to be
Oh, okay.
slaves, they wouldn't
Now I'm
have
getting
cared.
what you're saying. Yeah, you're talking about this in the context of extinctionism.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let me come to it. So the thing is that so not everybody is going to be converted. So there are always going to be people who who are going to reproduce, and then that itself gets anti-natalism out of the picture, right? Being a voluntary movement that needs everybody to be convinced. And even if everybody is convinced of anti-natalism, I would
Yeah.
say that I wouldn't leave animals behind, right? I would reproduce, because leaving animals behind is a bigger problem.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem, right? I recognize that reproduction is evil, but the thing is, if murdering is evil, the first person I should murder is Hitler, right?
Yeah. What if your
So
child though was like an anti-extinctionist and they went
wait.
out
I'm
and did
getting
the
I'm
opposite?
getting there, bro. I'm just getting there. Let me finish it. It's a huge deal, right? So I have to explain a lot to you. So the thing is that, so this world exists, and then there are obviously, like, if you are not going to reproduce, that means that means that either two things are going to happen. So in this world, population of animals are dependent on either um, um, yeah, I think we have established that antinatalism is not going to convince everybody. That's basically wrong. And so the thing is that, like, if you are personally not choosing to reproduce, two things are going to happen. One thing is that another person will reproduce and take up the resources your child was supposed to take, right? So in this world, everything is dependent on resources. Like, for example, if there are food and water for 10 deer in a forest, there are always going to be 10 deer. The 11th deer will be eliminated. If the 10th deer is eliminated, another deer will reproduce and replace it. So there is always going to be 10 deer, right? So it depends on resources. And the same thing goes for humans as well. So as a human, you consume more resources than animals. You need food, you need water, you are sitting in a house, there are furnitures behind you, you are using electronics, right? How much water does it consume to make you a car? How much water does it consume to make a table for you, right? So you are actually sitting on the resources of so many wild animals, right? So my question is, why does it matter if the person who's suffering is your child or another person's child or a wild animal? It doesn't, it literally doesn't matter, right? So the thing is that only total extinction can solve this problem. You get me?
I hear what
So
you're
you
saying.
are
Yeah.
convinced of antinatalism, but another
Yes.
person is not going to be convinced, right? So he is going to reproduce. So even if he doesn't reproduce and your child gives a vacant space, that means that the resources are going to wild animals which suffer, and these wild animals are not even going to help the cause of extinctionism or even any cause, right? They are just suffering. Like, animal suffering is totally unnecessary. That is what I have been telling you from the beginning. Like, animals don't need to suffer at all. We can start euthanasia projects, we can start population reduction for animals project right now, right? We can start minimizing their suffering right now. They don't need to exist.
Yeah.
So whether your
I
child
can't really
suffers,
explain on a logical level, like why I would be opposed to that. But on an emotional level, like, there are animals that I see that are happy and are relatively happy. And I'm not sure that I would be willing to like euthanize them um, because
see, the
they seem to
problem
be enjoying
again,
their life.
again, again, the problem is that you, you cannot go to an ocean and you cannot split this fish is happy, this fish is unhappy, euthanize it.
Yeah.
And you cannot do one thing. So the thing is that let's say that,
I
okay,
think
uh,
sterilization would be
let's
based,
say
mass
no,
sterilization.
just a
Right?
second, just a second. Let's say that
Yeah.
again, the it doesn't matter what is emotionally good for you. It only matters what is logically best for animals, for the victims.
Yeah.
So the thing is that if you are not going to do something about this, if you are going to let them continue, they are going to reproduce, and you cannot guarantee that the happy fish will not reproduce a suffering fish.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So
Very true.
this is the problem with existence. The problem is not whether like the whether you are happy or whether but the thing is that there is a huge asymmetry also. You cannot uh, justify suffering with happiness, right? So for example, like 5,000 children are getting raped per day according to UNICEF. So you
Yeah.
cannot justify a child rape with something like playing a video game or sex, right? So you
Yeah.
cannot
For
say
sure.
that, for the rest of the 8 billion people to be happy, let one child get raped every day. So there is a huge asymmetry here. So the
Yeah.
thing is that you have to make the compromise and you have to put an end. It is basic trolley problem, right? You want to make one person suffer or literally infinite people suffer.
Yeah.
That's life is not so black and white. Like, you cannot always win. Life is not fair. That we have established from the beginning. So you have to be the one to take the necessary step, and you have to say, like, if murder is wrong, we have to kill Hitler. So you cannot be the deluded person who's emotional about killing and say that, murdering Hitler is wrong. If you have to murder Hitler, you have to murder Hitler,
I
right?
hear
You
what you're
have to come
saying.
out and say,
I kind of view that as like self-defense too, and that's it's kind of like extensional self-defense.
this is
You
this
know,
is defense for every other unborn sentient being, because like you are like, see, animals are not coming and saying like, I want to live or anything. So they can't have philosophy or anything. If you say that, existence must continue because emotionally I don't agree with euthanasia, that means every unborn sentient being is on you, just like every Jew was on Hitler. Inaction is also an action. You're consciously taking a choice,
Yeah.
right? So if somebody is beating you, up on the road, right? If I just see it and so eat some popcorn, I'm equally as bad as him. You don't care. As a victim, you don't care whether your beatings
I
happen
don't
because
know
of
if I
him or
agree with
me.
that. I don't know if I
Wait a
agree
second.
with that.
Wait
Yeah.
a second. As a victim, your suffering happened, right?
Right. But if
Because
you're eating popcorn, you're not the one that
somebody
caused it.
wait. Because
Yeah.
somebody abused you, and because somebody didn't stop. Because now it becomes two reasons, right? Inaction is also an action. If you choose not to do something, that's a conscious choice you're making. It's a doing. It's an action. Right.
Interesting.
Not acting is also an action. If a child is getting raped in front of you, you're sitting and eating popcorn, right?
I would try to do something to stop that.
Yeah. So that is also like if you are choosing not to do anything, I'll be like I'll just chill, right? I'll just mind my own business. That is also an action,
Yeah.
right? A dairy farmer is abusing a cow. A poultry farmer is abusing a chicken, but still, like when you have recognized it is wrong and you are still like not giving voice for the farmed animals, you are in the wrong, right?
Yeah, I can agree with that. And
So
yeah,
like if you choose your emotions over
but
what
I
is
think there's
logically best.
degrees of
Wait,
culpability here, and I'm not sure that it's so black and white. If
that is
I'm
what I'm
getting
saying.
beat up,
It is no, exactly, that is my point. I am saying it's not so black and
okay,
white. You have to accept. So you are the one who's saying like maybe there would be a way. I'm accepting, like, if there is no way to sterilize all the beings, I'm accepting, like, okay, you go for euthanasia, right? I'm saying it's not so black and white. Sometimes you have to do the sacrifices. It's one versus literally infinity, right? If you continue this existence, the unborn is going to be literally infinity, right? So it's infinite amount of suffering, infinite amount of deaths, infinite amount of beings being born into the existence, because nobody is coming and asking you like you will be born as a tortured puppy in this world. Once you are born, a sadist will torture you. He'll drag you behind his car for 3 kilometers and kill you. Do you want to be born? Nobody is asking you that, right?
yeah,
So all these violations that are going to happen, all this suffering that is going to happen, if you don't take that choice and fight for extinction, it's on you.
yeah. If I was getting my ass kicked though in the middle of the road, I don't think that you're necessarily obligated to intervene. You know, that might not be what's best for you.
See, this is see, the thing is that are you saying like maybe like I might get beaten as well, right? So is that what you're
In most
saying?
situations, I try to do something to stop it. You know.
See, the thing is, I was just putting you in an ethical problem, right? So the thing is,
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't even go and put myself in a situation where I'll be killed to stop, children being trafficked. Right. So that is not the. I was putting it in a ethical situation. Like, if I am able to do something, if I am able to at least call the police,
Oh,
right,
okay.
then I would have stopped
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So that is something. So I'm saying
That's
in an
certainly.
ethical situation, I'm not saying like, so at that time I would value, like, if I am existing, I have to do extinctionist activism, right? So if I go there and get killed, then that is like lesser. I'm weighing ethics here only, right?
Yeah.
So if I had to go and press the red button to end all the universe, then I might even sacrifice my life, right?
Interesting.
So that is
Very
a
interesting.
different thing. That is a
Yeah.
whole other different dilemma. But I'm saying, let's just keep it for an hypothetical situation. I am able to help you, and I'm not choosing to help you. right? I am able to stop let's say I am the police officer,
Yeah.
right? I'm telling you, bruh, morality is subjective. Get fucked up, right? That's not gonna work. So the thing is that, uh, that is what I'm saying. Like, inaction is also an action. So if you are knowing, like, okay, this is absolutely something that is bad. If slavery is absolutely bad, and you're doing nothing against it, you're basically useless, and you're basically letting it happen,
Yeah.
right? This is the very thought that is making you fight for animal rights. That is the very
Sure.
thought that is making me fight for extinctionism.
Extinctionism. Awesome. Well,
So from
Steve,
now, like, you have to decide. You have to, research on extinctionism. You have to be rational about it. You have to decide. If you think extinction is the, if you connect the dots, and if you come to the conclusion that, okay, if you see the facts, if you are not morally blind, like those moral subjectivists or people supporting slavery, you will come to this conclusion. And if you come to this conclusion, and if you don't fight against if you don't fight against life, if you don't fight for extinction, then that makes you, like, you are responsible for the unborn sentient beings that are going to be born, and that's on you.
yeah.
Yeah,
I,
that's what
I
I'm
hear what
saying.
you're saying. It's a lot to process, and
Yeah, I get it.
I definitely think I need to do more research and let it settle. But I appreciate you sharing your philosophy with me, and
Yeah,
I still want to
I
see
would
the
just have
data
one
on the.
advice for you. So the thing is, like, when I got into the movement, right, not extinctionism, I'm saying, like, for the animals, right? At first I believed farmed animal suffering is the only thing that should be stopped, but the first thing I decided was, I am here for the victims, right? So I will open-mindedly accept what is best for the victims, and not what is best for the for my emotions. Like, for example, I can think, like, uh, if I go to a butcher shop and take a few chickens and come back home, I'll feel very good, right? I feel like a savior. But did it help? No. What the butcher did is, he took four more chickens from tomorrow's stock, and he sold it, and he ordered more chickens tomorrow. Nobody said, hey, Steve rescued four chickens today. You don't get a chicken pizza, you get a vegan pizza today. Right? No restaurant manager says that. Four chickens were rescued near this shop, so you all have to go vegetarian today. That doesn't happen, right? So
Yeah.
more chickens are bred. So what I essentially did is, I didn't help the chickens. In fact, I was the reason for more chickens being ordered. And then, I just satisfied my own emotions. So what I decided when I came to this movement is that, I decided I should be true to the victims only, not to my emotions. I might even emotionally hate euthanasia, right? I might, right? I might even emotionally hate, anything. Uh, but the thing is, only what's logically best for the victims matters. I am not here for me. I'm here for the victims. You have to be clear on that.
I hear you.
Yeah.
It's it's pretty heady because like I said earlier in the live stream, I'm an imperfect person, so I don't necessarily live my life in a way that's consistent to the logical ethics.
Um, I
Um,
am not a perfect person either.
yeah,
I have told on live many times that I feel emotional about a lot of issues, but I still take rational decisions.
yeah, I hear you. Well,
This is
Steve,
this
I
is the exact
appreciate it,
advice I
man.
am giving you. So moving forward, always when you are trying to help victims, your focus should only be on the victims. Otherwise, you don't need to be here, right? If you
Yeah,
are if you are trying to satisfy your own emotions, you can do plenty of other things, right? I don't
that's
have to
true.
fight for animals, right?
Yeah, I know
I
I don't
just,
have to, but I just when I see what happens to them, it's fucked up and it shouldn't really go on anymore. And I think that's something we both agree with.
yep.
Well, all right, Steve, I appreciate it, man. And please send me the data on the animals, the biomass. You know, the
Yeah,
4% versus. I'm very interested.
I'll just attach the links in this debate's description. So do you
Okay.
have a YouTube channel?
Yes, I do.
Feel free to download and upload this debate on your YouTube channel.
I will. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
All
cool.
right, Steve. Thank you.
Cool, bro. Yeah, nice meeting
Have
you.
a good
Bye.
day. Take care.